Whoa! Santa stops at 3. We know Tiger doesn't. Anyway.
It's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And we kind of did something what, a lot of people do. We went to the movies.
We went and saw Avatar in 3D.
Yes, and it had some crossover between religion and video logging, which...
Yeah. Imagine that. Same thing we're doing, the guy in Avatar does.
Yes, he tells the truth to the camera. At least from... Well, he probably... we tell the truth.
We tell the truth.
Nobody really believes it, but we tell it.
Yeah, but then with him, they come back and get him for what he said.
Well, that might happen to us someday. I'm sure it may happen.
I'm sure one day somebody's going to pull up some arcane video clip and says, back then on Christmas Day...
Well, you might make the assumption that people actually look at this stuff, and part of me says, I only do this just to get it off my chest. Most people say you just like to hear yourself talk.
I keep hearing we have fans.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. Strange places, too.
Really? Yeah. Anyway, we won't go to those strange places, except for maybe we will. Anyway.
I think we're there already.
Well, the Avatar 3D was a very interesting technical piece. I thought it was beautifully done.
If you're going to see it, spend the money for the 3D.
You're right. It was... Because I don't think the story was all that when you get right down to it. It's a little bit...
We've seen the story before.
Oh, yes.
And again, and again.
If the Indians would have had the right, God and whatever...
And machine guns.
What connection to...
yes, connections.
It kind of gives you a more simplistic view of actually what we do. We actually connect with animals. We connect with other people, which is... We're not allowed to talk about pantheism because it goes against... What's that religion you guys started? Monotheism. Oops, I hit the table. Monotheism. But
monotheism is a problem.
Well,
we can't get two monotheists to agree with anything.
If you actually look at the way the religion started, it considers that God created everything. So why wouldn't God be in everything? And why would we celebrate God in that respect? I don't understand the problem with pantheism.
I don't either.
Personally.
No, there was a guy in the paper from the New York Times who was complaining about it, and
I think he doesn't. I think they always want to run away from accepting the fact that God the King James, Israeli, whichever God you want to go after, he kind of talked about pantheism in that way, but they don't like to admit that. They like to believe in. I think people that believe in God like to believe in the ascendancy of man.
I think they like
more faith in man than faith in God.
I think that the major problem with man is that man thinks man's the top of the heap.
You talk to a lot of religious people, like, oh, well, obviously, they don't really have faith in God. They have faith in themselves. Mm-hmm. If you get right down to it, they have faith that man will figure it out. Like he can engineer stopping like the Mississippi River from changing its banks,
or global warming,
instead of kind of working with what God created.
Yeah.
They like to think, oh, God created us the best and the last and did the best, and we can change everything. Dominion, I get.
Yeah, let's talk about some other movies where we've got, what was it, Asteroid, where the planet was going to get hit and go bye-bye?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make you think twice about who's on top.
Well, yes.
And what happened to the dinosaurs?
Well, whenever you get very, very big and very, very large, you have a tendency to be wiped out.
Yeah.
And who's not big and not very, very large these days?
Americans are pretty big and large.
Big, fat, and nasty.
So get skinny. Put down that fork right now.
And, you can... No, not today.
Not today. Tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. Or
actually, New Year's.
After the New Year's.
That's what everybody does. But, no, it's a good movie. And we're, off all kinds of other places with it. And we're sure that one day this is going to come back and haunt us.
Well, yes.
But that's why you don't see other politicians doing this, right?
Oh, speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to hear the truth, really.
Nobody likes to hear the truth, and nobody wants to make it easy for us to access the truth. That's, why we hide all these things, like campaign finance reports. And
well, you might offend somebody.
Well,
Little Johnny might be upset if you tell him that he's not quite up to snuff.
Well, I honestly...
Americans, you think they are... Obviously, God blessed this, and God blessed our country.
Yeah, God
and that's why
America.
We're so great.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we need to learn a little bit about loving thy fellow man from, maybe not from this movie, but I agree. But from just, if this is Christmas, maybe we need to reconsider being at war, and maybe we got to start thinking about, what we're doing with fossil fuels, and start thinking about making all this stuff right.
Well, that requires too much thought or too much consideration.
Yeah.
Because those people are obviously wrong, whoever those people are. It's easy.
It's the RDA.
RDA. Yeah, there's no product placement.
Oh, there's Stanford.
There is one product placement in this movie, Stanford. And
where Google comes from.
You'll like how it's productly placed, of course. At least I do. I always had the thing for
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, alien.
I think with that, that's it for today.
Sigourney.